For me personally, Say Yes More has been just a motto to live by ever since I decided that a 9 to 5, an unsatisfactory job, a shopping habit to justify an income, or at least the way that I was earning it, PlayStation on the beanbags for 10 hours a day, and on and on. I was just such a no person back then. And I got to thinking that I just wasn't very interesting. And I wanted to interest myself. I wanted to have something to talk about when I was round at people's places for dinner. So, not that I really went round to people's places for dinner because I said no all the time. I like my PlayStation too much. So, I guess I just set about addressing everything, and it was born out of this idea that I used to go to the local supermarket and there were a couple of old ladies there who were so miserable and so rude. And while everyone has their own path in life, and some people are dealt a really tough hand, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to be that old person if I carry on doing what I'm doing, because I'm miserable. I was 25. And I just thought I need to start saying yes more. I need to do more. And then, you know, the years rolled on and I lived ruthlessly by that philosophy. And when I started talking about it, and it was years before I realised that maybe it was powerful for other people, or it could be. The idea that when you say yes, you do something. You agree to something, you follow it through, you're naturally going to have new experiences, you'll likely make friends, you'll learn what's good for you much faster than if you didn't do anything in the first place. You develop skills, and life becomes a bit better. It feels more rounded, it feels richer. So I was planning a 1,000-mile swim down the Missouri River, and rather than just have a generic Missouri River Expedition 2012 on the team t-shirt, I thought I'd like a message on there. I'd like something that makes people think. And instantly, I just thought, okay, say yes more. So I'm the worst designer in the world. That's what I used to do. I was completely self-taught. And I just chucked it together on Photoshop, found one font that looked a bit edgy, some kind of eroded typeface, and then just sent it off to a printing company, and we got 100 t-shirts back with Say Yes More on the front. And the intention was to give those t-shirts out to people who helped us along the way, or sell them to people to help our fundraising total. And during the first event in Chamberlain, South Dakota, before I'd even got wet, they were all gone. We sold them at $10 a pop and raised a whole bunch of money for charity. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. You know, that had some resonance. When I finished that journey a couple of months later, I was pretty knackered, but I'd always wanted to travel around the States, having just put a message on Facebook saying I'm doing a speaking tour. And I called it the Say Yes More tour. And I did 32 gigs around the States in a few weeks and printed up a whole bunch more t-shirts. And so I did this tour around the States, the Say Yes More tour. And I started off just testing it out, but I sold maybe 500 t-shirts on the way round. And then that was it really. I just thought, right, I like things to work themselves out organically, and I'd never really like to push something. If it's right, then it's going to happen. I'll put a little bit of foundation down and some enthusiasm, definitely, if I care about it. But in terms of, I've never been a good seller. I'm really persuasive, and I've definitely developed those skills over time, but I've never been very good at selling product. I've written 3 books, and barely anyone who had followed me in the last 3 or 4 years on social media will know that I've written anything. So maybe that's to my detriment in some ways, but I basically just want the world to be a better place. And I realized that I blossomed personally when I started doing things. And the more that I became comfortable with myself, which is only a realization that you get to once you've given yourself enough experience to work out what's good and what's bad and what you need and what you don't. Then I thought, right, I need to pass this down. That's how human evolution works. You know, this conversation, this sharing of stories and experience. And I wanted to engage people and activate folks who were in that same position, you know, just shoved into a rut in a beanbag and hiding away from life and doing work because it paid rather than it made them feel good, rather than it was something that mattered. And I guess the first question is always, you know, what are you doing and why? That's life. And if you can answer that succinctly with no need for justification, then you're on a really good track. And I found that so many people I spoke to, it was one of the first questions that I asked, especially on my trips. They started making excuses immediately before even answering the question. So Say Yes More is about using your time well. And that means something different to everybody. But we've lost community in the last 15 years, and I want to bring it back. And that's where the Yes Tribe came from. This sense of adventure that so many people in the tribe have. That sees them not just going off around the world. It's not just about endurance or travel. It's about a way of living, coming up with little creative projects in our backyard, making people smile or laugh with our industry or drawing or writing. Some people are doing brilliant stuff on social media. And for me, social media should be used to bring people together in real life. And that's what we're really trying to do with Say Yes More. And the Yestival is the climax of all of that. It started off June 4th last year, and I thought, right, I'm going to see how many real people are out there in my social media following. So I invited them camping. And over the course of the summer, we had hundreds of people coming out on little micro adventures. It was magic. And not only that, but they were the type of people who go camping with strangers near London. And then suddenly they had a huge support network and they started doing things. And it was only then that Yestival became reality. It had been in my mind since 2012, but I never had that community, that group of people who would buy tickets, who would go. So we decided to do it with 7 weeks to go, and everyone said, no way, you can't do a first festival like that. You need to plan it out. And we just thought, well, no, if the people are there, then they'll come. We had 200 people along. It was the best weekend of my life. And now we're in the throes of organising number 2. It's going to be a little bit bigger, but we'll never go over 500 people. And so much happened after last year's Yestival. Say Yes More as an organisation grew and got focused. The Yes Tribe has now gone to over 3,500 followers around the world. And it's amazing. A group of people actually doing something both for themselves and for others. And we're making the world a little bit better. And we have to look after our own back garden before we can look after other people. We can't expect to do work that is mediocre and not good enough for us and then go home and be brilliant parents or sons or daughters or friends or spouses. We can't expect that. We have to look after ourselves first, and then we spread the love. And for me, this tribe is a group of people who are really in touch with themselves, or at least willing to be and working towards it. And then we're creating this army of people who have the fortune of choice. We're all very lucky to be able to think, okay, I think I could quit work here and find something else for me. We live in this amazing age and era where we can do that. But so many people in that position are wasting their potential, wasting their chance, and they will get to old age and think, I wish I'd done more with my life. And I'm not happy to accept that from anyone that I spend any time with. I want to drive people forward, and some people might hate that challenge. They might hate me for challenging them, but I'm not going to stop because I've seen the rewards of it. We have so many amazing people just living now. And it means that every single one of them goes out and they create their own ripples, and it touches so many other people. I want the world to be happy. And as a race so far, we're not doing that well. We're becoming lazy, and we just can't have that, can we?